It's Behind the Curtain IMO, and I'm Betsy Jordan. The situation in Israel, Gaza, Palestine, it is multi-layered and difficult to understand, but I'm going to do my best to separate it out into several different segments. And then it'll be on whatever platform you're watching this. It'll be on as iterative a fashion as I can, deliver it to you. So again, this is all my opinion. This is all my research. I encourage you to do your own. And perhaps some of the things that I'm sharing with you, you might want to research and see these things. Okay, so first of all, the Israeli lobby is no longer all Jewish, and a lot of the influences in that lobbying effort are right-wing fundamentalist Christian. And I identify as a Christian person, so I have trouble with weaponizing my religion. And in some cases, when I say to you it's a fundamentalist Christian situation, I'm also referring to the weaponizing of religion. And so there's that influence. There's also an influence in Congress of voices that are supporting Israel in a way that is not according to the original charter of Israel, because there are some ways that you could see what is happening there in a very different fashion. So we're going to talk about the politics of it, right? So there's a huge push. I'm not going to go into the religious sects or anything like that. But on October 7th in that year, Hamas attacked Israel, and they identified themselves as attacking Israel. Okay, so I said, and there are ways I know certain things. There are certain things that come to me, and so I will research them, and there's sometimes when I take giant leaps, but I've been proven right often enough that I felt in November, right after a month after the attacks, I felt that Netanyahu had to have known, and that he might have been using that as an excuse. Now that sounds horrible, right? But keep in mind, the Israelis had been, and particularly him, he'd been in that seat for 21 years with I think it was a break of about 2 years in there. And constantly there were rockets, and they were having to use their air defense missiles to protect Israelis. And so I think that it was kind of like a blood feud that had him ignoring these signs. The security services knew about it, but I had a feeling that they knew. I felt that they knew. And so I was saying this, speaking it, and not speaking it into being, but more like, I believe Netanyahu knew this. I know he knew this and ignored it. Why would he do that? Well, sometimes people make decisions based on the greater good. I'm not an advocate. And again, this is my opinion, do your own research. But a month after I was speaking this out, and I'd written an article to the New York Times, I was hoping to get it published. So I said this in November, I think sometime around maybe early January, Anderson Cooper did a special, and it was that the security services knew about this. Why did they do nothing? Netanyahu must have known, but we couldn't get a real answer. But now what we're hearing is that the security services didn't know about it. And so now the question is, how did we miss it? And that often happens as an evolution of, I'm going to cover this up, because right now there are people who are wondering, about Netanyahu, if he's going to be being criticized in the international community, and charges being brought against him because he was just bombing the crap out of the place, out of Gaza. And so what I'm saying is, I think that there's a blood feud there. I think that there's a very conservative element in the Israeli government. So I missed the jump there for you. So the Israeli government is very much right-winged and very much conservative, and very much, I would say, Netanyahu's beholden to them, but they're also, they're on each other's team. But most of Israel did not support the bombing of Gaza. So you've got this bifurcation, at least a bifurcation. You also have Palestinians that live in Israel. So it's not like they're not getting along. There's a group of people, a small group of people, that wants to control what happens. And that's true in this country as well. There's a small group of people who want to control what happens. Now, lest you think that I am in any way anti-Semitic. I'm not anti-anything, I don't think. Maybe I am, but I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm not anti-Palestinian. I'm not pro-Hamas. we'll get into that later. What I'm saying right here is that there were reasons why Israel did what they did, and they are not easily seen. So that's behind the curtain. So stay tuned. Anyway, thank you for being here.